The Dead Pair Podcast is fueled by Fiocchi.
Paul?
Welcome to the Dead Pair Podcast, coming in hot with everything you want to hear about sporting clays.
Guy Fieri.
How are you, gentlemen? Thanks for having me.
Anthony Batteries Jr., how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well.
Welcome back, David Radulovich.
That's a net positive 30 minutes. Brad Kidd.
Corey Cruz. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Now I feel awkward.
With your hosts, Jason
One
Rambo
more Red Bull for you.
and Sean Alley.
Woo, yeah!
Christmas.
Let's do it.
Often imitated but never duplicated. It's the Dead Pair Podcast. And now, it's showtime.
Welcome back, Mr. Large and in charge.
We are back, man.
Man, I don't know what it is. I mean, I know we're, right here in the beginning of January still. I am so stoked for the season.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've been getting my Don Grant mojo going and keeping up with those lessons. Speaking of lessons, I've been reviewing a lot of the homework that Mr. Rad Chad Roberts sent me. Anxious to get out and start implementing that. And been working on a pre-shot routine with none other than Mr. Tracy Wright himself. So
He might know a thing or two.
So I'm just, I'm excited. I mean, the tournament's your test, right? So
Yeah, well, I mean, our big first test is going to be the Jack Links. So we got a little bit of work to go between now and then to get that done. But I'm looking forward to warmer weather, better outdoor conditions than what we have right now. It's not terrible right now, but...
everybody knows that we're stuck up here in this frozen tundra of the Midwest. And
yeah, especially a couple weeks ago when it was -8. I'm like,
yeah,
who the heck wants to deal with that? That was around Christmas weekend, so yeah, that was terrible.
But I don't know. Part of me thinks it makes me appreciate the shooting season that much more.
Well, and it gives you a good excuse to get the heck out of here.
Yeah, ain't no doubt about that. So, hey, listen, we are talking to Mr. Stewart from ShotKam tonight about their new Gen4 ShotKam.
Yeah, they
Really
updated their series to a Gen4, and a lot of new updates to that, a lot of new features, and
we'll let him tell us.
Yeah, I can't wait to dive into that because I think that's still one of the great tools out there for anybody that can pick one up relatively affordably. And if you don't have a coach or access to a coach, it's a good way to see what you're doing,
right,
analyze it, and then hopefully fix some things that you're doing wrong.
Or use it to work with a coach.
Yes, yes, definitely.
We've talked about that. Hey, before we get Mr. Stewart on, we've got attorney talk to get to.
Yes, we do.
It's Tourney Talk. Brought to you by Score Chaser.
Okay, the Fraser 500 at Cherokee Rose opens in a couple days, or actually opened a couple days ago. New date for this shoot moved to September 29th through October 1st. The California State at LA Clays, June 28th through July 2nd. And the Nevada State at Carson Valley Clays, August 9th through the 13th, are all on deck to open next. Should have some more stuff coming up here soon, Jason, but there's just a couple more to add to your schedule, and hopefully shooters get signed up before things get filled up. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, speaking of California State, congratulations to Mr. Roberts, is now on the California State Sporting Clays Association.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Chad.
And congratulations to you. We've never talked about it on the show, of making a delegate for the state of Ohio for the National Sporting Clays Association.
You know me, man. I just kind of keep to myself, and as well as you. I'll give you a thumbs up for doing the same thing, buddy.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm a delegate too, but whatever.
Yeah, that's all good. Hey, speaking of, not to go off the track here, somebody got you a pretty nice Christmas present, and I think you got me a pretty nice Christmas present. You want to talk about them, or?
Man, I'm telling you what, this shooting bag that Sean got me is so cool. All the compartments in it, all the stuff that's in, this thing's awesome. We need to put pictures of it up.
Yep.
On our Dead Pair Facebook page.
And Jason picked me up a laser rangefinder, so when I'm out on the course, I can actually figure out how many yards a shot is, which is a cool little tool. I never thought about bringing one of those along, so thank you, Jason, for that.
I didn't tell you. I bought 2 of those.
Oh, yeah?
So when I went to Anthony's for his target setting class, we're standing at this one station. He looks at me. He knows I have my rangefinder. He goes, "How far away is that trap?" And I shot it, and I said, 78 yards. He looked at me. He goes, "That trap is not at 78 yards." I'm like, "Let me try it again." I was like, "Well, now it says 72. He goes, "Hold on a minute." And he starts walking with his wheel. And I walked about halfway, and I'm looking at the station like, man, I wonder what this rangefinder picked up, He got to the trap, and he goes, 58 yards. I turned around and held my rangefinder up to the class. I'm like, "Anybody want to buy a rangefinder?" So when I bought your good one, I bought me a good one.
Ah, I got you. Upgrade.
Yes,
Nice.
Those things are not cheap, but that's one of those things. It's kind of like a scope. the more you spend, the better you get. So,
well, I had an idea about your range bag. I also bought me a new range bag. It's not here yet, but I thought maybe we could do a little video segment, show what's in our bags.
yeah, there you go.
Go through both of them and just say, hey, here's what we carry.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that.
Every once in a while I come up with a good one.
I keep you around for something.
Not very often,
I keep you
mind
around for something.
Right,
Sean.
exactly.
Well, hey, listen, I'm really excited to talk about this new ShotKam Gen 4, and I'm
Yep.
sure people don't want to listen to us carry on about silly things. So why don't you give Mr. Stewart a call when we'll get him on here.
I'm on it.
All right, on the phone with us from the Sunshine State, Mr. David Stewart of ShotKam. How are you, sir?
I'm good. It's nice to be back in the show again.
Yeah, David, great to hear from you again. Sorry Emily couldn't make it. I guess she's feeling a bit under the weather right now, right?
Yeah, well, she's got a little bit of a stomach bug, and she's also got a 6-month-old baby. My granddaughter, her name is Winslet. We call her Winnie. And Emily just loves that little girl like you couldn't believe. She's just a little doll.
And I'm sure Grandpa doesn't spoil her or anything or spend any attention to her.
she is just the cutest thing you've ever seen, and she's got a wonderful nature. So,
that's awesome.
We all love her dearly.
Well, David, we're pretty excited about this. The new Gen 4 ShotKam. Can you tell us what's new on it?
So it's basically, it's really sort of an upgrade to, all of the major parts of the camera. The resolution, we've gone from full HD 1080p to actually a range of resolutions depending on the zoom you want, but from 4K, and then you've got the ability to zoom, and it's a digital zoom, so the resolution goes down as the zoom goes up. But basically, we offer five combinations of resolution and field of view or zoom. So it's got a lot of flexibility. We can go through the specs one by one. In terms of resolution or field of view, one of the issues we had with the Gen 3 was we kind of were relying on shooters to have, dare I say it, good form, sort of matching the gun to the speed of the clay or the speed of the bird. And we had some new shooters that would struggle with that. If people were, let's say, shooting swing through and had, to be honest, probably a more violent swing through than would be recommended, then there were times where the clay or the bird would actually come out of the frame. So we've addressed that. We've given a lot more options. So for new shooters, that's going to be helpful. If you're an experienced shooter, if you're the David Raduloviches of the world, they harmonize, they match, and it's not when the gun is in their face. The good thing about good shooters is they are matching the speed of the bird as they're mounting the gun. And certainly I'm someone, I can't have the gun in my face too long. So I'm attempting to match the speed of the bird and shoot basically as soon as I feel like I've got a good visual connection when the gun hits my face. So that's fine. I'm not as good as these guys. These guys, they could have an extremely narrow field of view because basically the bird is connected to the shotgun from the moment they start moving it. But anyway, this makes it a lot easier for the less experienced shooters. And it does help. I mean, some people, especially the bird hunters, really like to do the swing through method. And, if you're not careful, you can swing out too far in front. And with the old camera, you could potentially lose the bird. So it's more forgiving. And obviously the resolution, I mean, just the picture looks great. I mean, you just get the level of detail, whether it's clay shooting, the details on the clays, and particularly for bird shooters. I mean, if you're shooting if you get that, once a day shot on a pintail and you really want to, take a a snapshot of it, you can capture a frame, and the detail is really, really nice. So
that's cool.
So that's the resolution, field of view. They're sort of connected together. It gives the users a lot more flexibility. You can go. We have more and more, particularly in Europe, to be honest, more and more people putting ShotKams on rifles, and in Europe, driven deer and driven boar hunting is big, and the ShotKam is widely used there on large game, and the narrower field of view, when the game is a bit further out, is helpful in terms of when you go to play the video. If you're shooting a deer at 100 yards, then you want the narrow field of view so that the deer, it is larger in your frame.
Right.
So that's the field of view, which is connected to the zoom. The ShotKam 3 model was fixed at 4 times zoom. The ShotKam 4 model has between 2 and 8 times zoom. So more flexibility, kind of tune it to what you're doing. If you're putting it on a rifle, or if you're putting it on a duck gun, or putting it on a trap gun, you can kind of tune it to what you want. When I say you can tune it, we sort of do that for the user. If you select your gun and target type, the camera will default to what we recommend. So it's not something that you have to tune. You can go in and make personal adjustments. You can customize it if you want, but we're trying to do that for you, basically. So it's simple to use. The battery life has tripled. So
really,
so you had to shoot a lot of clays with ShotKam 3. I mean, you could do a couple of rounds of 100 clays sporting before the battery would run out, or at least 1.5 rounds. But we would have people, particularly sometimes with hunters, that would run out of battery life, and sometimes trap shooters. I mean, the ShotKam 3 is good for like 4 rounds of trap, but some guys want to shoot 6, 7, 8 rounds. So the new one has tripled the battery life. It's in fact, I'm not sure. I mean, we've done a lot of testing, and I've never actually run the battery out. So you'll typically get about 15 hours of typical shooting. So it's really tough to run out the battery on the new one.
Yeah, that's incredible. 15 hours. Wow.
Yeah. So it's a much higher end processor that's inside it. We've got better power control. We've got a larger physical battery in there because we were able to integrate the electronics more and make room for the actual battery space. So everything's sort of been upgraded. The Wi-Fi connection now, it used to be 2.4 gigahertz. It's now 5 gigahertz. The speed is much faster downloading videos. We've increased the internal memory, so it's now 128 gigabytes, and we get some funny stories about people they'll call up because no one ever reads the manual, and they'll call up and they'll say, well, the red and blue LED, I've been using it for 6 months, and the red and blue LED has come on, and it's like, what does that mean? It means your battery's full. It means, like, occasionally you actually have to remove a video from the.
That's funny.
It's got a lot of flexibility, and it's pretty forgiving.
Now, David, did you guys make any changes, like to the weight or the size of the ShotKam? Has it pretty much stayed consistent throughout most of the models?
So it's stayed consistent. Physically, there are some style differences, but basically the two models are similar in size and weight.
Okay.
So what is the process, David, for watching videos on your phone from the ShotKam?
So it's the same with both models. You connect now. If people have never used a ShotKam, it's like a lot of things these days. You download an app. So you download an app. Typically, when you buy the ShotKam, you're going to download the app. It's very simple to do in the Apple Store. Most of us have done it. Even our sort of older customers that are less tech savvy are pretty comfortable downloading apps now. And you turn on the ShotKam, and we call it turn it on in Wi-Fi mode. That just means you hold down the on button for more than 2 seconds. And it's got its own Wi-Fi. So one thing that we run into is people are like, well, I'm not in a Wi-Fi zone, or I'm not in an internet zone, or there's can be a little bit of confusion. And what we tell people is that's all, it's generating its own Wi-Fi. So once you put the ShotKam in Wi-Fi mode, you go to your phone, and in the settings, you'll see the ShotKam shows up in Wi-Fi. Once you connect to that, you open the app, and we've got a new app. We spent quite a lot of time and effort on the new app to make it user-friendly. Interestingly, this is a bit of a side story. It actually was quite an awkward process for us, because our first app developers, or at least the first ones for the new app, were actually based in Ukraine, and it was a really sad situation. I mean, we had to change to US-based code writers, because these poor guys in Ukraine were getting bombed every night, had no electricity and no water, and couldn't get to work. So that was a sort of shocking thing along the development of the ShotKam 4, as we ran into like a World War II problem of where the actual engineering community was getting bombed every night. We couldn't work with them. So
wow.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing in today's world. But anyway, so we're now entirely US-based code developers, and it's a pretty, it's a really nice interface. It's easy to use, and you select the videos, you download them, you can scroll, you can go frame by frame, fast forward, fast back. Most people, if they're shooting at clays, they're obviously looking and analyzing their move to the clay, and that's the classic thing with ShotKam. We always tell people is you don't necessarily focus on leads and things like that. You're relying on your subconscious brain to get the lead right. You're really focusing on what is your technique. Are you matching the speed of the bird? Are you merging with it? Are you synchronized with it at the point you're pulling the trigger? And you can see all of that on your phone. You can just move back and forward, just see exactly, did I start my gun moving at the correct point? Was it a good move? All of that you can see on your phone. And obviously you can, if you want to play it in a large screen. I mean, I personally like to watch most of my videos on my home computer, but where the cell phone is just wonderful is if you actually have, you're working on a bird and you're really struggling with it, and you can actually just connect on the range and do it all on your cell phone. So
right.
People love that feature.
Well, one of the biggest questions I've been asked is, can or how do you split a screen with recording with your phone and the ShotKam? In other words, where you can see the person, the movement they're making in conjunction with the ShotKam, seeing it on the bird. Is there a way to do that?
So you end up with two devices. So you can obviously take video of yourself shooting, or have your friend take video of you shooting. You can then look at his video on his phone, and you can look at your ShotKam video on yours. Some of the instructors do that, and they can do that remotely and help people with their shooting remotely doing that. It's a valuable tool. Personally, I mean, what I see most people doing is they'll take video of themselves, just place a phone in the shooting station, take video of themselves, and then they'll just go back and forward. They'll watch the ShotKam video, then they'll watch themselves, how they moved, how they made a move on the bird, and that for sure is a very useful tool.
Gotcha. Well, David, I know that with the people with the older models of ShotKams, you used to have a trade-in program. Is that still going on with the ShotKam 4?
Sure. Yeah, you can trade in your old model and upgrade to the new one. Like I say, you don't have to rush to. I mean, there's a lot of people are trading in, but they're taking their time because they have to time it with when they're hunting or shooting or whatever. Mm-hmm. So we have a trade-in program. Happily taking your ShotKam 3 and upgrade it to a ShotKam 4.
Okay. And what do you guys do with the old models? I mean, are you able to recycle them or repurpose them somehow?
Well, we're not actually. So, and that's one complaint that we've had is the trade-in value is we're trading in for $150 for your old model. And just to be blunt, what some people do is say, well, my buddy will give me $300 for it. The reason we're not giving $300 is we're not selling them as remanufactured units.
Okay.
So we basically just we're discounting it against the new one.
Gotcha. Yeah, that keeps customers happy and keeps them coming back. So I can understand that.
Well, this question's coming. We'll just ask it for everybody. Do you offer any discounts?
Yeah. So if you go onto the website and there are times we do flash sales. We obviously do Black Friday sales, stuff like that, and then we always give support to NRA members and military and police. So definitely check out, see if there's a discount coupon available.
Gotcha. Now with the ShotKam, I know it's got a really nice mount that goes to a shotgun barrel, but you also can use this on a rifle and sometimes even a pistol. Is that correct?
Yeah, the pistol's somewhat limited by barrel size. Mm-hmm. So
like maybe a big revolver or something like that might work. Or personally, I've got Smith & Wesson 686 with an 8-inch barrel, and I love putting the ShotKam on that. The old dirty hairy gun.
Yeah, exactly. So you can put it on. You can put it on revolvers. It's not widely used on handguns. Much more widely used on rifles. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've got and that includes air rifles as well. It's surprising how many people are, especially in Europe now, are using air rifles. But you can, the different mounts for everything from a 223 all the way up to 416s and elephant guns. We've got a mount that'll work for you. And like I say, the new Gen4 is actually gives you a lot more options in terms of actually tuning it to the distance you're shooting at with a rifle. With the shotgun, it's pretty easy. We just assume everything's going to be in that sort of 10 to 60 yard range. Obviously, with rifles, you have to cover a much wider range, and the new product does that.
Gotcha.
Back to the phones, David. Is there a way to live stream it to your phone?
Yeah, so you can watch live stream just through that Wi-Fi connection. Okay. So one of the options is to watch the live stream. It's something that you need to be careful with, and it's sort of surprising. It's a little bit like if you play back the video at full speed. It's sort of shocking when you first see it of how quickly your gun is moving. So when you're live streaming and it's attached to your gun, it can be almost disorientating looking at it on your phone, and that's why typically we tell people to take the shot, watch it slowed down, because when you're watching live streaming of shooting, you're going to not think you shoot that quickly. You're going to think, I don't move my gun that quickly. But really, you do. We've talked about this before. Subconsciously, when you're shooting, your field of view narrows subconsciously as you focus hard on the target, and also you effectively slow it down in your brain. So when you look at the video, you feel like, yeah, that looks correct. Well, in actual fact, the video's been slowed down just because that's what your brain is subconsciously doing. So you absolutely can live stream, but just be careful. It can give you a headache very quickly.
Yeah.
Well, David, are we missing anything? I mean, I think we've kind of gone through the gamut of most of the stuff. We've talked about the upgrades and the differences between the new 4 and versus the Gen 3. We've gone through some of the phone functions. We've gone through some of the upgrades, and you've talked about the resolution changes and all that. I mean, is there anything else that we're leaving out for our listeners?
No, just understand what the ShotKam is good at. Do not spend your time measuring the lead on, because you can look at the video and you can say, okay, relative to this background, my lead was 4 feet on this one and 6 feet on that one, and just I always tell people, because they tend to think, well, this will show me the leads, which clearly it does, and this will show me the pellets heading out towards the target, which was really cool to see, and that's true. You can see the pellets going out if you want to look at them, but just use the ShotKam as a tool to understand how you're getting to that lead, not focus on the lead itself. We all know there's 2 things in the world that you must be aware of but never look at, and that's the lead and the bead. So you use the ShotKam like that. You use the ShotKam to move the gun correctly, and your subconscious brain will put the correct lead on it. Don't look at a target until you think, okay, that's 6 feet of lead, and the ShotKam is not wanting you to do that. The ShotKam is wanting you to understand how you got to there, and just let your subconscious brain take the shot.
Well, David, you guys are always constantly trying to upgrade and improve. I mean, obviously, we're on to the Gen 4. So my question is, are you guys working on a Gen 5? I mean, is that what the next thought process is, or you going to kind of let it ride for a little bit and see how this works out and just maybe work the bugs out, or what are you thinking?
So, we're going to have this model for, several years, but we do have plans for developments or upgrades. We also have developments for some of the mounting brackets. We're in the springtime, we're launching a mounting bracket that fits onto the Picatinny rail for, people that want to use it in 3-gun competitions, for instance.
Oh, nice.
We also, again, we have in Europe, silencers or modifiers are much more common over there because you don't have these federal controls that we have here. So most people that are shooting deer rifles in Europe have silencers or modifiers on them. And so we're coming out with a model that basically lowers the ShotKam so that the field of view is not blocked out by the silencer. So we're doing that. We're constantly working on, upgrades to the app and the software and the firmware. But this base model will be our base model for the next, 2 to 3 years for sure.
Very cool. Well, I know Sean and I got our hands on the Gen 4. Have you played with yours yet, Sean?
I've just got it set up and I downloaded the app, but with the weather and stuff being the way it's been, I haven't been out yet. So we're going to get out there.
You're slacking on me.
I know.
Well, this is the time of year to do it. Go out and shoot some ducks, and you'll just enjoy the level of detail when you look at the birds closely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I did trade my old one in, for the newer one, so it's all good, man. I'm telling you what, it's a great product, and for anybody out there considering it, I mean, I would highly recommend for the relatively inexpensive cost. You can learn a lot.
Yeah,
and actually,
it's an amazing tool.
Yeah, it really is, and if you use it the correct way, I think you can gain a lot out of your shooting and become a better shooter because of it. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, David, where does everybody need to go to find this? I mean, is it just as easy to go to the website, or do you have other retailers they need to visit?
No, it's the website. All sales in the US are internet sales, so you go directly to the website, and we've got just a super team of support people. So if you have any questions, you can call I'm always very proud of our team. We'll help you. We have a lot of older customers that are not particularly tech savvy, and we'll take the time and help people make sure that they're getting everything out the ShotKam that they should get.
Gotcha.
Very cool. Well, that's something that's lacking in today's world is customer service, and you guys have been phenomenal with it. So, it speaks volumes for who you are as a company.
Yeah, it's something that we take very seriously, and really we're on Gen4, and I'll be honest, we had a lot of technical problems with the Gen1, the first generation that came out. And because we looked after every customer so well and our customer support was so good, almost all those Gen 1 customers have bought Gen 2, Gen 3, and now Gen 4. So we've got a very loyal customer base.
Well, that's good. We're glad to hear it.
Yeah. Well, David, it's been a privilege to have you back on the show. I hope Emily gets well soon. Man, keep a hold of that little grandbaby. Spoil her as much as you can.
Yeah. Well, I'll get Emily to send. I'll send some pictures. She really is the cutest little thing you've ever seen.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'd love to see it. Yeah, that's really cool. Love to see the pictures.
Well, we wish you guys the very, very best in 2023 and lots of success with the new ShotKam 4. Anything else coming down the pipe, just make sure you reach out to me and Jason. We'll be happy to talk to you. Okay?
Yeah.
Will do, and thanks for the good work you guys are doing. It's a great show.
Thank you, David. We appreciate you.
Thank you, David, very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, Sean, what do you think, man? The Gen 4, you and I each have ours. Have you had a chance to play with it yet?
I did. I actually haven't got to shoot with it yet. I've got the app installed and updated, and then I've got it mounted on my gun and sighted. So the next chance I get, I'm going to get out there and shoot with it. Just weather's been bad, dude. It just really has not been cognizant to go out. And...
we already had the Gen 3, so they just sent us the actual camera.
Right.
Well, I unscrewed my mount. And I got the old camera out, and I went to put the new one on. Don't ask me how I did this, because I still don't know. But I bent the main screw that goes in there. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Is the word ham-fisted mean anything?
Yeah. So, and this, everybody listen to this. This is really cool. So I emailed ShotKam. I'm like, look, I'm an idiot. I don't know how I did this, but I need to buy another one of those little screws. Can you send me one? No problem. We'll take care of it. And I'm like, no, I'll buy it. And they're like, don't worry about it. We already shipped it. They sent the entire mount.
You're kidding me.
No. Get this. In the heart of all the busy holiday shipping, right? I had it in 2 days.
Wow.
Now, guys and gals, this is a testament to the customer service.
Yeah.
The ShotKam. And they're not sponsors of ours.
No, they're not. No.
But this is how cool of a company they are.
Yep.
They didn't even hesitate. He needs a new bracket. Bam.
Yep.
And they sent it. And I was like, wow, I couldn't believe this. When you do get to use that camera, you are not going to believe. To me, it's like the definition of everything is so much more clear.
Well, and I've had it since version 1.
Right.
And to say that basically they've innovated and upgraded everything all these years since I bought that first one.
Well, you've had a Gen 1, a Gen 3, and now the 4.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. So I've played around with the 1 and the 3. I haven't got to the 4 yet. I mean, it's mounted and ready to go, but I just have to get my butt out to the range and do it. But my point is, they didn't just settle and say, here's our product that's good enough.
Right.
They keep innovating and inventing and upgrading and making things better. And I think as the years progress, they're going to continue to do that. And that's basically the company. I mean, that's ShotKam. They're and I still think it's such an underrated tool for the money. Like you can take that thing out by yourself,
right,
and learn a lot about how you shoot. If you go back, take a break, go watch what you did at the practice range or shoot or whatever, and you can really start to see and learn how you shoot and how you can change some things.
But this is where I highly encourage people to go back and listen to the first ShotKam podcast that we did.
Yes.
When we had David on and all that, and we talked about, you're not focusing on the lead, because it's just like actual shooting. I mean, I almost said subconscious. Your peripheral is going to give you that, right? Yeah. So, you got to be careful how you watch that footage.
Well, I think there's a lot of good videos right now on YouTube from ShotKam and from other shooters that use the ShotKam.
Yeah.
And I think what's most interesting is to see how certain people shoot certain targets.
Yeah.
Like I'll watch a shooter take a crosser, and he's doing a sustained lead. and I'll see another shooter in another video, and they're coming from behind doing a swing through.
Right.
So it's really cool to see the different methods.
But see, that's where, if you're watching that footage properly, let's say your instructor wants you to mount in front and do that sustained lead. Well, if you see, instead of focusing on watching the bird break or miss or see where your shot went or whatever, you should be paying as much attention to that insertion in that video.
Yes.
And say, oh, crap, I'm inserting behind it. I thought I was getting in front of it. No. You're swinging out in front of it, and then you're slowing down.
The truth is
That's
right in front of you.
lead. Right.
Yeah, the truth's right in front of you.
You need to pay attention to how you study that footage, but that's so cool that tool can do that for you.
And I think that, again, is the value that goes above and beyond. When you have a ShotKam, if you don't have access to a coach, you can go out there. If your coach isn't available to, like, let's say you get off work. I got off work a couple hours early. I can go to the range and I can do some practice. Well, I can't just drop a call to my coach and say, hey, come out here and stand with me.
Right.
But you can take that ShotKam
Yep.
anytime it's available, plug it on your gun, and watch what you did, and then hopefully learn from things.
But that's where it's really cool because I think, the ability to send a coach that footage.
Oh, yeah.
Chad's in California. I'm in Ohio. And I can send him that footage.
Yeah, and David does the same thing.
David does the same thing.
So.
I mean, he does. Listen, David coaches people from the United States to across the pond.
Right, in Europe.
And it's solely with the ShotKam.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's amazing what you can do. So, if you are going to go out and practice by yourself and figure things out, you're going to burn some ammo.
Yeah.
And we're talking about quality of products and customer service and all. We have Fiocchi USA on board with us now.
Oh, yeah.
I know myself. And years ago, I shot them, shooting them again, the little rhinos.
Oh, I love me some little rhinos.
1250, 1 ounce. Now I am shooting 8s and 7.5s, and you have jumped on the Rambo bandwagon, and now are shooting 8s and 7.5s.
I've got a mixed bag because I do see the advantage of shooting 8s at closer targets for certain presentations. I still like my 7.5s. Don't get me wrong. I still got plenty of those.
You know what? If you listen to Anthony, he'll shoot 8s at just about, regardless of yardage. If it's got dome or belly or something like that, he's throwing 8s at it.
Yeah.
He shoots 8s at probably 70% of his targets. Mm-hmm. But I think you need to try those 8s out a little bit farther distance than what you think.
Okay. Well, I believe that with a quality shell, with the pellets having a little bit more antimony in them, you can definitely get by with a little bit further with a quality shell than you would typically expect.
Right.
I agree with that. But like I said, I've just always been kind of like, if you got the sledgehammer, why not hit it? Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
well, why didn't you go with the crushers?
No,
Well,
I
it's
don't.
1300s.
I don't need to punish my shoulder. I'm a big guy and I'll handle any freaking recoil out there. But I listen. Let's talk about the shooting dynamics. Their competition practice line, basically.
Yeah. Yes.
I have loved that shell from the get-go. I think for the money, it's such a light shooting shell. I shoot the 1,200 feet per second, 1 ounce, 7.5s, and I love that shell. I've even shot it in competition and done very well with it. There's not a lot that won't break as long as you're doing your job. But again, the little rhinos, just a little bit better, just a little bit higher up the scale. Again, they're great. It's great ammo. It's great ammo.
Talking with certain people at the top of the game, they want you to practice with what you shoot in tournament, right? So
I get that.
What's cool about the dynamics in the little rhino, they sell a 1 ounce 1250 shooting dynamics. So it's basically the same speed, the same characteristics as the little rhino. It's just the components aren't as high quality as a little rhino.
I know, but it's just so cool shooting that shooting dynamics shell. And like in my DT11, it's like shooting a 22.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call Heather Roden at Bear Pelt, and I'm going to get you a pink gun sleeve and a pink vest.
Really? You know what? I'll rock that stuff too, man. Only a confident guy can. I'll rock a pink vest. I'll wear a pink vest.
What's that pink blimp walking over there?
I will rock it out, and I'll even put Roseanne's logo on the back of it. So.
You know what? Now that's for a good cause, so I can't take anything away from that. You just ruined my mojo.
I will strut.
You stole my thunder.
I will strut with the pink on. The big man will strut with pink on. I ain't afraid.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the edited version of the podcast. So, all right, we got to get out of here. Listen, we've got some really great sponsors. And thank you very much to Toby Tomplay and his wife for this outro and intro that they've done for us. We touch on those sponsors right here in just a second. But Sean Alley, we preach it every week, but it's so, so important to sustain the growth in the sport and to keep the sport healthy. What do we tell everybody every week?
Take somebody new shooting. Take them out to a tournament. Take them out to a charity event. Put a gun in their hand. Show them how fun this sport is. And it's true. I see it all the time. People say, I shot my first tournament because of you guys. I bought my first gun because of you guys. And that is so humbling to me and Jason. I mean, period. We really take this seriously and with a lot of responsibility, because we love bringing people into the sport and then having them come up to us at a shoot somewhere and say, I'm shooting this because of you guys. I mean, we take that so seriously. You guys have no idea, and we appreciate each and every one of you.
Yeah, and you know what? We've been getting some emails here lately, people that have got their wives involved with shooting. I think that's super cool.
Yeah.
Their kid, their buddy, their brother. And it's awesome, and it's so exciting because we're right at the start of a new year. Everything's fresh. Sean, we've got a new sponsor this year with Fiocchi.
Yes.
I'm excited about that. I got a new vest coming. I'm excited about that.
Yep.
I've been on a training program, which we're going to have Ian Lashley from Lashley Fitness on here to talk about that. He has developed a workout for sporting clay shooters that you can do at home.
I am really itching to hear about that.
You know what? And it's so cool. All right, like, this isn't go join a gym membership and do some weird, goofy stuff. This guy has got stuff that will help us. Excited about that. I'm excited about all the training I've been doing, at home with Don Grant and Chad Roberts and Tracy Wright. And it's really cool when we put all this together. It's like, man, here comes tournament season, and I'm stoked, and I'm excited for everybody, and I hope they're going out and shooting and breaking clays.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but hey, listen, that's enough of jibber jabber.
Yes.
Until next week.
Hey, we all can't wait to see you back here on The Dead Pair.
We'll see you next time on the Dead Pair Podcast.
The Dead Pair Podcast is fueled by Fiocchi USA. The Dead Pair theme song was written, arranged, and produced by Toby Tomplay. Special thanks to the following sponsors: Bear Pelt, Negrini, Rhino, Otopro, Dawn Grant, Atlas Trap Company, RE Ranger, Woolly Shooting, and White Flyer Targets.